Just like an hour back, Mikel Arteta has come out and really addressed the media down in Zurich, in Switzerland, ahead of his encounter tomorrow with the team which goes by names of FC Zurich. And he has talked a lot of things. Emily Smith-Rowe injury blow, talked about Bukayo Saka, resting him and giving him minutes to really help him not be so much tired as far as the World Cup is concerned. Then he's talking about Gabriel Martinelli. He talks about Granit Xhaka, Tierney, and how he adapted to Zinchenko taking him over. Fabio Vieira, it was almost the talking point of the day because we took like 2-3 minutes talking about Fabio Vieira, and he promised us to be seeing more of him at the current situation in here at the Rokani Media Football. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. Rokan David is my name. Rokan Media Football. Rokan Media Football is the YouTube channel that you're watching us on, guys. We want to hit 7,000 subscribers. Lower right bottom corner, smash the subscription button. After smashing it, hit the notification bell that whenever you get notified each and every time I upload the video onto this channel, which goes by the names of Rokani Media Football. Without further ado, I would like to go into that Liverpool game reaction. Liverpool has been beaten by 4-1 by Napoli. Barcelona has won 5-1. So I want to go in and really do a wrap-up of those games because you guys are here waiting for that. And I'm going to come and really talk about that latest, but this comes first. Obviously, Mikel Arteta has gone ahead to really first say this. He has said on how he rates FC Zurich, he said the biggest danger is that after the season they had last year, they haven't got the results that they expected. You can see how willing they are to win football matches. This is a different competition and a different context altogether. Talking about the season they had, they were in the Champions League. They played very well, but obviously this season has started way off from where they are supposed to be. 7 games played in their season or in their league. They've won 2 and lost 5. That's not in a way a manager would like to start his season. But that gives Arsenal an edge over Zurich. But even, you never know, Zurich might say, all right, the best way to wake up from this game of football is obviously going in hard on Arsenal. So Arsenal has to go in all prepared for this team. And looks like Mikel Arteta has the right gadgets and weapons to really silence a team which goes by the names of FC Zurich. Then Mikel Arteta on bringing a strong squad, that if that's an indication of trying to qualify as quickly as possible. He said, we don't have that many players available. Unfortunately, with injuries we've picked in the last 2 weeks. He said, this is a competition that we want to take very serious after an opponent that is going to make it difficult for us. We want to start the competition the right way and maintain our momentum. Obviously, in a game like this, you go out to Zurich, you have to go in and beat them. In the match preview I told you that if I told Mikel Arteta, and obviously I know this is what he's going to do, he's going to look for the first goal, very much crucial. Then secondly, he's going to go ahead and really try to really rest some players. And how do you rest these players? Go in with a balanced squad, not with the same 11 that played against Manchester United, but with like 5 players that played against Manchester United, and including 5 more players that have been on the bench and have not been getting enough playing time. Then you go in for an early goal, and if at all you can win the first half by 2 or 3 goals to nil, go on and do that. You saw Ajax today. In just 45 minutes, they had really summed up the win. 3-0 first half. So that means in the second half, you just come on to go and dilly-dally around and play tiki-taka football, just waste time, and your players won't get tired, because he's playing Everton on the weekend and he has hinted about injuries. Very many players of Arsenal have been injured. You get, especially Thomas Partey, the engine of the team. And obviously, I'm going to bring you more news about Emily Smith-Rowe, as the manager has confirmed something new about Emily Smith-Rowe. So he looks like he knows exactly what the competition is all about, and he wants to go in and start with the right momentum and win the opening game. Now, Arteta was also asked on Arsenal having not won a European competition for the last 30 years. Arteta replied and said, that's a long time. I would like to be the first one to break the negative record. You have to start somewhere. That's tomorrow. We need to start well and earn the right to win the match. To me, I believe that Mikel Arteta is really a very good manager that's going to put Arsenal to the next level. Obviously, when you look at the team he's having, he's just one transfer away, especially a summer, of bringing in like more 3 or 4 players to get to the right grip. I know Arsenal next season are going to be in the Champions League. I know that. They are going to either win the UEFA Europa League or they are going to finish in the top 4 places of the Premier League. So, what does that mean? It means that Arsenal is really going to go ahead and do the needful and win this game. And I know he will win a competition for Arsenal. I know. Having won the FA Cup, he knows what winning is all about because it was at Man City. He saw Man City won. They won with Pep Guardiola. He knows what to do for players to really raise their winning hopes. So I know Mikel Arteta is the right man for the job, and obviously he wants to go on and be the first person or manager to break that negative record at Arsenal. And I know he's willing, and the players he's having can win the UEFA Europa League. You get? Because on a good day he can beat Manchester United, he can beat AS Roma, even other teams that are really going to drop from the Champions League after finishing third in their group, on their different groups. They'll drop into the UEFA Europa League, and Mikel Arteta can go on and really beat them, hands down, with his squad. But the problem is injuries for him, and that's what he's alarming about. Now, Mikel Arteta on Emile Smith Rowe, his head, he felt discomfort in an area that he's been dealing with now for a few weeks. He wasn't comfortable after the game, and he hasn't trained in the last few days, so he's out of the squad. When you look at Arsenal, they started on very well. Players were injured. Tomiyasu, Fabio Vieira, Emile Smith Rowe, Tierney, which other player was injured. So those players returned from injury, those 4 players. But on their return, Zinchenko got an injury, Thomas Partey got an injury, Mohamed Elneny joined them. Now Emile Smith Rowe has joined them. As we speak, Arsenal have Mohamed Elneny, Thomas Partey, and Emile Smith Rowe out. It shows you that Arsenal's squad is not as deep as the manager wanted it, because the manager wanted 2 players per position. He demanded for a 22 fully fit man squad at the end of last season of 2021-2022, where they narrowly missed out on qualifying for the Champions League. That's what Mikel Arteta was calling for, and obviously he wants it, but obviously couldn't get it because I really believe that the financial fair play really did them bad. I think they were really alerted by a person in UEFA that plays, watch the way you are spending because UEFA might ban you. And right now, with the project of Arsenal is building right now, you can't tell me that you will be very much okay if at all Arsenal really gets a ban. Will you be okay? No one will be okay, isn't it? So this project, Arsenal respects it a lot and said, all right, we rather not really go in and bring in Pedro Neto, Yuri Tielemans, and maybe a left defender, and then we save our season such that we can get them next summer after UEFA going in to really see to it that we've not broken the financial fair play there for you. So that really hit Arsenal bad, and obviously they never went huge in the market to spend, because we are told that they are given £200 million by the owner of Arsenal, and obviously they had only spent £121 million, meaning that they had £79 million left. When you add on the money they sold Leno, Guendouzi, that is £20 million, add on Torreira, that is £8 million, that is £28 million. I think they sold players for like £30 million. That means Arsenal had £120 million in their bag, and they could go in to break the bank, but obviously they said, there is the UEFA watching us, monitoring our financial expenses. You get? A football team is only allowed to spend £30 million more than the amount of profits that it spent. So Arsenal is one of those teams that have been reportedly making losses for the previous 2-3 years. So they really looked in it and said, all right, we're not going to go in and bring in players. But Emile Smith Rowe has joined the injury list of Arsenal. Then Arteta, on if there is a plan to give Bukayo Saka protection, he said, we will try. If the squad and performances allow us, we'll try our best to manage his load and get him onto the field in the possible condition. After November, we have something that we have never experienced before. That is the World Cup. So when you look at how Mikel Arteta is really hinting on Bukayo Saka, he's really saying, unless otherwise, the performances really urge us to go on with that. But we can't. because he's the only player they have who is really so much probable and very much realistic to go in and really play into that position. But I know tomorrow he's going to start with Marquinhos, and the only prayer that Arsenal's manager Mikel Arteta is praying for, and Edu, is that Marquinhos hits the ground running, especially in the UEFA Europa League, as he has been doing in the under-21s. Because if at all he does, that means Bukayo Saka will get a reduction in the number of games, in the number of minutes he plays for Arsenal. And maybe in some games, like games when Arsenal wins like 3-0 at like half time, you can take off Bukayo Saka and bring on Marquinhos or any other player to go in and play into that position, like Fabio Vieira, or switch Odegaard to the position where Bukayo Saka has been playing, and then Fabio Vieira comes in and plays as a central attacking midfielder. So I really believe that Mikel Arteta is looking towards that, but all is in the hands of the Lord, because no one is tall enough to see the future. That's why I say that we have to look in and see whether our performances will allow us, and how will the performances allow you to really make that adjustment. Obviously, when you really win like 3-0 comfortably at first half, or at 60 minutes you are having a lead of like 3 goals, then you can take off Bukayo Saka, because for the rest of the players they can be rested, but Bukayo Saka has no alternative at Arsenal. That's it. After Pepe leaving, you are left with the Marquinhos, and you never brought in Pedro Neto, meaning that it's only in the hands of the Lord who knows what next for Arsenal. Then Mikel Arteta on if Arsenal are seeing the benefits of managing Gabriel Martinelli's minutes in the past. He said, I don't know. We just try to make a decision based on what we see, where the players are at, the space they have in the team. Then he went ahead to let us know that when we believe they are ready to step in and give their performances and expose them, where it's fair for the players to demand certain things, that you are exposed to this club. I think he's so much on point and exact on Gabriel Martinelli, and he concluded on the matter of Martinelli by saying, now you see a player with tremendous talent who is performing consistently at a high level. He needs to keep doing that and keep improving. That's what Mikel Arteta said about a player who goes by names of Martinelli. And to me, one of the most improved players under Mikel Arteta, I won't be ashamed to say this, he's Martinelli. Martinelli, last season, I think he scored like 6 goals and 4 assists, but right now he has like 3 assists and 3 goals in just 6 games, meaning that he is going to approach a double figure of goals and a double figure of assists. If at all he really goes ahead to strike that balance in his game of football, he would have obviously toppled Bukayo Saka. He's going to topple him, because the way you look at his flair, his pace, unless he gets an injury, but he's really good. Martinelli is really good, and I really believe that Mikel Arteta has every reason to go in and really hail him, because he's really doing great in the team of Arsenal. Then, this has really caught my attention, and said, I think very many Arsenal fans would like to know, and I've been waiting for this question for a very, very long time. Arteta on Tierney and how he's reacted to not playing when Zinchenko is fit. Mikel Arteta said, well, first of all, Tierney went through a period of 3 or 4 months with injury. He's come back, he's in a good place, and what we want is to have competition in every position. His position is no different. Obviously, these are some of the positions where Arsenal are fully packed. Zinchenko and Tierney. The problem is, what Zinchenko offers you is not what Tierney offers you. Zinchenko offers you a lot going forward, but Tierney offers you a lot defensively. That's it. And when you see Tierney playing going forward, you really believe that, oh, we've always been lied to. The best player going forward should be Zinchenko. That's why you cannot convince any Arsenal fan right now that Tierney should start ahead of Zinchenko. And Zinchenko is the man of the moment. But I really believe that tomorrow, Arsenal is going to start Tierney. And the only way Zinchenko is going to play a minute into that game is when these Arsenal players fail to go on and exploit Zurich. But if at all they really go on and really put in results, obviously he's going to be benched and rested for the game of Everton. But competition is what the manager wants. And competition helps the team perform at levels that it has never performed on. You saw how Tierney came in through when Nuno Tavares has really taken over his position. After he was injured, Tavares comes in, plays very well, and then he goes back to bench because Tierney came in through and pressure mounted on Nuno Tavares, and Tavares made lots of mistakes. So, As things stand, Zinchenko is ahead of Tierney, and the manager says he's not any different. Tierney is not any different. He has to go on and fight the presence of Zinchenko, not physically, but each and every time he's put on the field of play, he has to go in and put an effort that is going to see him win his heart and field him on the field of play. Then Mikel Arteta on Xhaka's new role and his evolution in it. He said he has a different role this year. He's in more advanced areas, and I think he's playing really well. He's been really consistent this season and is a really important player for us. Obviously, he's an important player for Arsenal, that is Granit Xhaka. But obviously, you see to it that whenever he's playing with Thomas Partey, this advanced role comes out very well. His progressive play is so much well. He gets that ball, he passes, he risks in there for you. But when Partey got an injury, even in the game of Fulham that Arsenal won 2-1 when Mohamed Elneny was playing in the central defense midfield area, obviously, he never went forward a lot. His progressive game or advanced role was not all that immense as it was to be when Thomas Partey was here. Even Odegaard himself, he used to drop deep to come and help Mohamed Elneny. The same thing was done in the game of Man United. Odegaard and Xhaka were really dropping deep to get that ball from Sambi Lokonga because he can't play that single pivot alone. He needs help to be attached on him by Xhaka and Odegaard. So I think the Thomas Partey factor is really huge and is affecting the way Granit Xhaka is really playing. And ever since he really got an injury, Xhaka is not the Xhaka who really started the first 3 games of the season at Arsenal. So again on Granit Xhaka, Arteta asked on how he convinced Granit Xhaka to stay at Arsenal 3 years ago. He said, I gave him my opinion about the situation and I tried to explain the reasoning around why I thought leaving in the moment wasn't the best idea. Knowing his character and how he is, I thought he was going to regret it. So, see, I saw very many Arsenal fans coming and dissing Granit Xhaka, but I told them Granit Xhaka is being played out of position. If you think Granit Xhaka is a central defensive midfielder, then you are lying. Why isn't he a central defensive midfielder? Even when Thomas Partey got an injury, the manager brought in Elneny. Even when Elneny got an injury and Thomas Partey and Elneny were absent because of injuries, he brought in Sambi Lokonga. Xhaka is better while playing as a box-to-box midfielder. You get? And that's why you saw him thrive this season. Every time he plays with Partey, he's a different kind of player altogether because lots of things are added to his game. So, he was convinced by the manager to stay and he's playing really well provided Thomas Partey is there. That's why Arsenal should go in and bring in a CDM. And people are saying, Xhaka is bad, let him leave. But remember, when Arsenal lost to Newcastle by 3-1 last season, a game that was going to send Arsenal to the Champions League position comfortably without competition from Spurs, he came out and shouted at Arsenal players, told them, you guys, do you know the main reason as to why you are here? So such players like Xhaka, you need them in your team. Reason being, he's not the only leader. You're also a team to thrive doesn't need to be having only one leader. You need to be having like 5 leaders. Look at Arsenal. They're having a leader in Odegaard, a leader in Zinchenko, a leader in Granit Xhaka, a leader in Gabriel Jesus. 4 leaders on the field of play. Trust me, things can't go wrong. If Partey comes in through, he also becomes a leader in that midfield area. Meaning that if you're having 5 players who are leaders on their pitch, you thrive. That's why you saw to it that when those 5 players were on the field of play, Arsenal was really a different team altogether. But when Sam started getting an injury, all injuries, obviously, Arsenal fell off a little bit. So, Xhaka is a leader, and he's a man who dies for the team each and every time he's on the field of play. Amidst him getting yellow cards, stupidly red cards, but this time around I really believe that his discipline has gone ahead to improve, and I think you guys really love him. Then Mikel Arteta concluded on Xhaka and said, after that, day by day, he has earned the respect of everyone at the club, of all our supporters, and he's been playing really well for us. Obviously, he had fallen out with the Arsenal fans and was leaving. That's why Mikel sat him down and told him, please don't go, do ABCD, and everything is going to get back to normal as expected. So that's what Mikel Arteta told a man who goes by the names of Xhaka. Then, On Fabio Vieira, asked on if Fabio Vieira and if it's helped him to be out of the spotlight at the start of the season, he said, we are looking for players that could play in 3 positions in the front line and the attacking midfield area positions. Then, we were looking for very specific qualities in the market, and when I saw him, I really liked what I saw. Straight away, I was convinced that he was a player who can help us go to the next level, and that he had the right personality and character to play for our club. Then Mikel Arteta concluded and said, it's a shame that we detected an injury when we were doing the medical. He had no preseason and everything has been delayed. But hopefully you are going to see a lot more of him in the next weeks, and I'm sure that you will enjoy it. So the last statement is what all Arsenal fans want to hear, that he is really going to come in and really give you so much more this week. And I know tomorrow is going to be part of the starting 11 of Arsenal. And obviously, you saw some glimpses of him in the game of United. I support United, but Fabio Vieira came out and really gave me some glimpses that I really said, oh, there is quite a good player in that guy. And let's wait and see tomorrow at exactly 19:45 hours. We will be here an hour before. That is 18:45 hours to bring you the confirmed starting 11 of a team which goes by the names of Arsenal versus FC Zurich. But something Arteta has hinted on is all about this guy having an injury. They detected an injury when they're doing the medical and they said, all right, he's a good player. The injury was not all that threatening, and they said, we are taking him on. So that is what Mikel Arteta has come out and said about the FC Zurich game. Talked about Zinchenko, Bukayo Saka, Emily Smith Rowe, and very many others. Your reactions are welcome into the comment section below. Lastly, I'm going live on this channel to bring you things concerning Liverpool on this channel. Then afterwards, I'm going to go ahead and bring you some story as far as the team which goes by names of Arsenal is concerned, how they touched down in Zurich and how they've trained for the game of Zurich tomorrow onto Rokani Media Football. Rokani David is my name. Your reactions are welcome into the comment section below. I sign out for now. See you later. 2 more videos left, the Champions League reaction, and then I'm going to be back with what I call the Arsenal trip to Zurich and how they trained. I'm out. May the Almighty God protect you abundantly.